Hi guys, my name is Albert Tan from downloadsilo.com. Happy to be here today. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are. Pleased to be welcoming you to here. And today we are glad to have Dhiren from Quickblog with me to share with you some of his best secret of how to do a quick blog. So before we actually start, let's do some housekeeping. I will just show you this link. Please paste and click this link in your browser so that we can give permission to restream, to display your name as well as let us know that who are you in the photo. So with that, then everybody can actually see who you are, especially two of us who are actually in the restream backend. No, we are not in the Facebook front end. We are actually in the backend of this restream. So please, thank you. So I will see Tuhin. Tuhin, how are you? So we have a few guys already there. So and I do not know who is this the second guy. You say hi Albert and Dhiren. So please paste and click the link in your browser so that we can see your name. Is it Facebook Live or Restream? Yes, it's Facebook Live as well as Restream together. Okay, guys. I think you are right. We are actually seeing your name. We see Pong Nam Yuen, Nas Hai, as well as Tuhin Ka. Okay, most of you know the drill. Okay, that's it. So before we actually start this demonstration, or they call it a demo by this Dhiren, I would like to ask a few questions about this quick blog. Okay, Dhiren, uh, would you mind tell us why do you want to start this quick blog? What's the
Mhm.
story behind that?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the story is quite simple, and I'm sure probably most people can relate to it. But I bought Swipe Pages on AppSumo in late 2020, I think it was, if I remember correctly. And it's a great tool. I mean, I use it practically every day. Every sort of landing page I have for Quickblog is built on Swipe Pages. And back then, I was actually looking to start a sales strategy agency. So one that I knew, okay, I need to create some content and create some blogs that actually start to bring in some organic traffic. And obviously, Swipe Pages for most people who are on the call, I'm sure you all know, Swipe Pages doesn't have a built-in blog, and it's not just Swipe Pages. A lot of like sort of WYSIWYG drag and drop landing page builders and web page builders don't necessarily have a blog tool embedded. And what I did is I actually signed up for another tool, one that I knew would work for with Swipe Pages. It was based on JavaScript, like I said, just add a couple of lines, and it would create a blog in your website. And I'd used that for a couple of weeks, and there were a couple of issues with it. It works pretty well, to be fair, but I wanted to do a few more advanced things. Sort of style the blog the way I wanted, and sort of add additional integrations. And reaching out to the product team, they wouldn't actually make those types of changes. They said, "Oh, you could use this tool, you could integrate this and do that." And I thought, every time I want to do something new or different, I've got to go externally to like a different system and try and hack it. So I thought, well, I think I can do a better job than they could. So that's why I came up with the idea of Quickblog. And I actually went to Swami from the founder of Swipe Pages and said, "Look, are you building a blog? Because if not, I think I've got an idea that could work quite well, and and it will de-risk it from you. You don't have to get sidetracked. And if you're happy to, I can promote it on your page, and people who want a blog with Swipe Pages can literally sign up. At least back then, when I started my alpha and my beta, it was for free. And yeah, that's basically why Quickblog was born, just out of frustrations of using another system that wasn't as flexible as I wanted it to be. And then yeah, I took the plunge, especially after speaking to Swami. He was really supportive. He said that I could post some updates in the group, which really helped. And that's where I think you picked it up as well, and a couple of others like Lucian. And so it's really sort of taken it from there. It's been just over a year or so since I really started.
I see. Okay, thanks, Dhiren. But
Mhm.
I'm actually quite what I call surprised, But would you like to tell us, is swipe pages better or Quickblog is better?
Well, they both do different things, right? I mean, White Pages is a phenomenal landing page builder, and it is very, very flexible. Of course, it's not like an entire CMS like WordPress or other types of Epi service, those types of tools, but it does a great job in terms of getting your landing pages built very, very quickly, and then they actually look really good and lots of functionality. And I'd actually liken Quickblog to be similar in that respect, right? Quickblog it's not as powerful as WordPress. I'd never make that claim today. But what Quickblog is it's fast. It's very user friendly. So you don't need to have like servers to host your blog. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to update like regular security updates. And some other benefits about Quickblog are its portability as well. So a couple of questions in your group as well were about, okay, if I wanted to move from, let's say, Shopify to WordPress to X landing page builder, how easy is it with Quickblog? And the answer is, if you're not changing the domain, then you don't need to change anything. Like you're effectively just adding the code back onto the new, host that you're dropping in your Quickblog. So that means that it's very portable. And over time, it's going to increase its SEO features. In fact, we're working on a Google Search Console integration now. We're adding a few other bits and bobs, which will make it just a lot more, lot easier to actually see what's the effect of these types of blogs that you're, creating with Quickblog over time. How does your traffic increase? How does your keyword search results increase? That sort of stuff. And it's going to continue to get better. The next, so right now we're working on some QA fixes, some not necessarily bugs, but just things that could be improved in the UI. And then the next implementation, we are releasing the Shopify private app in the next week and a half, hopefully 2 weeks. And then we're going to be working on a new navigation UI that just makes the whole navigation process much, much simpler. And then we'll be working on the additional integration aspects, like say, with Google Search Console, and going through the roadmap that has been promised. And obviously, and I'm sure most of you have seen some of the items on the roadmap as well.
Yeah, I think that's great, So, but we don't go to the roadmap first. Maybe later after you do your demo, we can actually revisit the roadmap. I think the audience must have a lot of question, So, but one of the most important thing, most impressive thing that I actually know about Quickblog is, it's very simple, 2 lines of code, and your blog is up. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dhiren to tell us, how easy to build a blog using Quickblog. Please.
Sure. Thanks, Albert. So I will share my screen, and Albert, just give us a nod when you can see the Quickblog dashboard. Can
Yes.
you? Yeah, you can see it. Perfect. So what I'm going to do for the people on the call, thanks for joining very, very quickly. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to integrate Quickblog into your webpage. And then I'll go into, and you can see this is my own blog. It's actually on the Quickblog website. And we'll go into how you can create a blog within there and actually start to add images, change the alt tags, etc. So the first thing that you want to do is actually go into your settings. So once you've signed up for Quickblog and verified your account, go into your settings, go into your blog settings. And the first thing you want to do is install your blog code. So what I've got is I've got Swipe Pages up, just a page I'm going to show you how that works. And the first thing I want to do is add some HTML code. So I can add it in 2 blocks, or I can do it in 1 block. It's really down to your own preference. I'll do it in 1 block for this sake of the demo. And what I want to do then is add these 2 bits of code directly into the page. So I copy the first one, click on the green link, go back to Swipe Pages, copy and paste the first bit of code, then go back to Quickblog and go and add the other code as well. So with my blog, it's already been set up, and typically what I would also need to do is go into the layout settings. So I'd need to enter the blog URL. This is really, really important. In fact, being completely candid, most of the tickets that come in into the support queue are typically because the people haven't set the blog URL correctly. So in this case, I'm going to pretend this page that I'm building has already been added onto the existing Quickblog blog page. So wherever you embed that code in, you want to change the blog URL, as well as do things like your blog title, the SEO heading. Of course, these aren't necessary to actually get it up, but it's always good to just get it done. And what you'll also see at the bottom, if you did want to have any custom styling for the tags, for the fonts, that sort of stuff, you can add this. This will be a global custom global custom CSS. So that will apply all of the CSS changes to the entire blog. But we also have the ability to do that on a local basis, and I'll show you what that looks like. So now that I've added the code, I'm literally just going to publish it. I'll keep it on a test page. Test blog, publish that. And then if we go to view page, and here you go, you can see now the blog is up and running. It is using, another thing to note, it does, Quickblog inherits all of the style from your existing page, the page that it's built in on. So if you did want to change things like the fonts, the colors, the sizes, then the best thing to do is actually amend them directly inside your page builder. So in Swipe Pages, as I'm sure most of you are using, or a lot of you are using, you can go to the settings menu, go to typography, and then you can change things like the heading, the header H1 tags. You can change the H2s, buttons, paragraphs, all of that. And then that will reflect all the changes. Once you've saved and republished, that will reflect all the changes directly in Quickblog, in your Quickblog blog. So, are you okay, Albert?
Sure, no problem. It's my alarm from my room.
So that's how easy it is to get set up with the Quickblog once you've installed it into your page, right? Now, the other thing that you'll want to do is then change things like your layout settings. And this is where you can change things like the styling of the blog. So how many columns do you want to use? You can see it's on 2 at the moment. I've got 2 columns. If I go back and change that, and just to show you very, very quickly what that looks like, I'll change that, and then you can see now it's gone from 2 columns to 1 column. And I can do that for lots of other settings. The combination of these toggles will give you, I think I did the math, it was about 1,100 different combinations the way you can style your blog. But the good thing is you don't need to do any sort of coding to do that. You can do things like showing the author and the preview. Do you even want to show the content preview? So I'll change that back, save that. And you see now the author has been hidden, as well as any of the preview text for the blog as well. And there's lots of other things. So I can even do things like showing the blog navigation, which shows things like the authors and related posts inside each blog as well. So I'll save that. And there we've got now the blog navigation. If I then go into a specific blog, now you can see it's also changed the URL. So this is the original blog. But now this shows things like any related posts that I've added inside the blog, as well as any authors, etc. And you'll also notice within the blog, you can do things like add in your share this code or your discuss code. So if you want to have comments inside of your blog, then you can also do that as well. And that's all created inside the Quickblog interface. We've got loads of articles, so you can see how to set up everything. And even in the links inside the app, we'll show you how to do things like setting up discuss, setting up share this, etc. So that's how the Quickblog blog itself looks like, and how you can actually change things like the settings for the display and the layout. You also notice that we've got the ability to change the button colors. So each of these buttons, let's say for the back to blog, previous, even the read more button, as you'll see in here, you can change those blog button colors. You can actually change where they're located. Is it going to be under the image, under the text? Where is it going to be aligned, left, center, right? Is it going to be square button, rounded button, or like more just a pill type button? So there's lots of flexibility within Quickblog to actually change and design it how you look at how you want it to feel. Additionally, with things like custom CSS. And one more thing I want to talk about very quickly is the ability to import your blogs from Google Sheets. So not only has Quickblog created a exporting tool for WordPress, so you can export your WordPress blog posts directly to Google Sheet, and then in that Google Sheet you can re-import that back into Quickblog, so that way a lot of your blog posts are directly imported. Now, I know some people have reported issues depending on your setup with WordPress, so if you have got any issues with that, then just reach out directly to us, live chat or email, preferably email, so at least I can send that information directly to our developers, and then we can get that resolved for you. But lots of people are using that already just to export their WordPress blog posts into Google Sheets, and even use that for themselves. They don't necessarily want to use it for Google for Quickblog, but then you can then re-import those blog posts directly into Quickblog, or if you're using a CSV as well, you can do that too. So that's how to actually set up your Quickblog. It's relatively straightforward. Like I said, a couple of minutes to get everything done. Within a minute you can get your blog code installed. But then actually creating the blog post itself is very, very straightforward. So I'll show you what that looks like. So we're back in the dashboard, and I can go to add a post in here. And let's see, here we go. Now we're refreshing. And the first things that you want to do is, of course, you can add your images for your featured image. So the one that's going to show, for example, in your main blog, when this is 2-column, 1-column, whatever it is that you're showing in here. And we've recently, I think this was less than a month ago, we've recently built in an integration with things like Unsplash and Pixabay, Pexels, and even Giphy. So if you wanted to look at entering maybe a GIF or a specific image, I'll just click on all sources. Maybe I'll look for purple sky, and I'm going to write a quick blog about purple sky. So let's just add that one in. And bottom, of course, I can add my alt tag. I'll go and add the media. Let's try that again. Here we go. I'll then change my my author. Of course, I can set these up within the authors list. So if you're familiar on how to create authors, categories, buttons, all that sort of stuff, it's all within the options there. I can then add categories as well, not directly here because these are from a pre-selected list, but within the settings, you can go and add categories, add my related posts if there are any in here. And I can also do things like scheduling. So if I wanted to set up a blog to be posted, let's say next Friday on 4th, I can set that up for the date and time. And then I can change things like the read more button. So if I wanted to, rather than have it as read more, I wanted to change it to, explore here or something like that. And once I've set up my commenting and sharing by, discuss and share this, I can either also enable this at the post level as well. So this is something that I spoke to a few of my very early users, and they wanted this capability to be able to change whether I can comment or post at each post level. So that's what we've done here as well. But at the moment, only the sharing is set up, not the commenting. So even if that one is enabled, it wouldn't actually change that. But then in here, I can do things like adding my title. I'm just going to add some basic stuff in here. So I'll do a title. I can change things like the heading as well. So purple sky. Maybe I'll do another purple sky here. And I'll add an image as well. And again, this loads up the image library, whether one it's already been selected and imported into your library, or you can do it from upload directly from your computer or like a local drive from URL, or also from a media search as well. So again, I'll do another purple sky search. Oh, my spelling is terrible today. Sorry, everyone. So I'll add that in. Purple sky, add media. And there we go. And that's all added the alt tag as well into the image. I can also do things like link as well. So just add one in there. And here we've got the ability to edit the link. So I'm just going to add this in here. I'll do that as well. So SEO title. I can also change the target. So do I want it to load in a new window? If I do, then use blank. I will change this as well. So rather than having to enter this manually, so it'll literally be a drop down. Do you want it to open in page or in a new window as well? So that will change shortly, as well as the QA fixes. And there we go. So now what I've done is I've just added the H1 tags, maybe a very short paragraph, an image that's linked with the alt tags, as well as the link with the alt tags as well, the SEO alt tags. So what I can also do, and I mentioned this at the post level as well, at the global level, so I can use custom styling per post. So if I want to change the custom style for the H1 tags, H2 paragraph, quotes, that sort of stuff, or even just add any specific custom CSS at each post level, then I can do that from within this editor as well. So that's sort of tucked away, just so, because I know not everyone's going to use that. We just wanted to make that an option for people who are a little bit more advanced with custom silo, with cascading style sheets, and they can add that in here. So the other things I can do, change things like the primary keyword. So that's going to add in the keyword that I want to be using to be recognized as the SEO sort of basis around this post. And let me see them. Wait to see these. Just add some, random stuff in here. I can copy and paste all these other bits. And then what you'll also notice, for people who use Quickblog, you'll see that we've also got this SEO Scorer. So it shows you then some tips that you can use to improve the, I guess, the search appearance and also the findability of your blog posts, which are typically then crawled by Google or other sort of big sort of search pages, search engines. And what we're effectively doing is we're using the keyword primarily. So the keyword is primarily used to define then or check all of the other attributes within the post itself. Is the keyword in the URL? Is it in the SEO title? What's the length of the title, etc. Have you added like at least minimum 2 hyperlinks? Another thing that we're going to be building into the SEO scorer is the internal link checker, because this is also another important factor when trying to rank. Do you have any internal links that are then building up this link silo? So that should be done before the end of February as well. We'll be adding lots of different sort of new attributes over time as well. And then this will just give you the ability to really try and optimize as much as possible the structure of your blog post. So again, based on the images, the keywords, all that sort of stuff. And I'm not going to go into all of it, but you can see that there's obviously some improvements I can make. 65% for a 2-word, like a 3-line article. It's not bad. Obviously, you want to use your own sort of intuition to make sure you've improved the SEO score as much as possible. So doing things like the title lengths, just to give it as much meat as possible and to give you the highest capability, the highest possibility to be then ranked in Google. Of course, you also want to look at additional off-page SEO tactics, like especially things like backlink building. It's still really, really important, regardless of what experts say. The more backlinks that you have, of course, quality backlinks from domain authority websites, then the higher your content is likely to rank as well. So, one thing that I'm going to be experimenting with my own blog posts is doing sponsored content. So rather than doing ads to, let's say, my target or money page, I'm actually going to be doing ads to my content, which I feel is really, really quality, especially things like optimizing the website. And it's something you can try as well if you're into using ads just to help improve your backlinking and that sort of stuff. But yeah, building a blog post is very, very straightforward, and that's really all it takes. So even with the explanation I've been going through, I think that probably took about 10 minutes, if that. And obviously, when you know what you're doing, you can build out a blog post within minutes. So yeah, that's how you set it up. And if I go to the blog post as well, that one's saying it's draft. Actually, yeah, I forgot to change the scheduled. So I want to change that to published, just so you can see what that looks like. I'll leave the time as is and update. And here we go. Now you can see back in the list now, it's scheduled to be published at 12 p.m. my time on the 4th of February. So that's a very quick demo of Quickblog, how to set it up and how to create a blog post. Albert, back to you.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, thank you for your pretty quick demonstration. But I think you have covered most of the things that in how do you call creating a blog using your platform. So I believe can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, me.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking, uh, okay, I see some of the question in the chat box. One of the most important question is we need to have some examples. The real life example. Do you have any real life example of your blogs that is built by Quickblog?
Yeah, so it's something I've been trying to gather myself. I know a few people have sort of given their links and showed me some pages that they're actually building at the time. There's only one that I've had confirmed, like from an existing, built out blog, which I'll post in the private chat link. I believe I can do, so people can check it out. It's one that a user has set up for his client. But when it comes to doing things like ranking for content, this is something that, again, I've been doing with my own content. So, for example, if I look at things like, and I'll share my screen in a second, optimize for Google search 2. And I'll show you, for example, some articles that I know are obviously ranking based on the keywords that I've actually used for scoring myself. So here we go. I'm just going to share my screen, and I'll do that again. So hopefully you can see my screen again, and you see optimize for Google search in 2022. And what you'll see that I've got an article there that's basically been ranked number 2. So it sort of flutters between 1 and 2, but it's always on the first page. I've got a few others, and I'll post examples of those links as well directly inside the chat, and just so people can see. But yes, when it comes to creating the page and actually ranking, it is completely possible. The technology that Quickblog uses, which is what we call the sort of dynamically generated content, all of that content is indexable and readable by Google and Bing and all the big sort of search engines. So there's no difference in terms of how the content is structured or how it's read. Though their crawlers can very easily recognize what the content is about and then service that up in the search engine results.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, never mind. We actually can go to the question first. Then after that, we revisit the what they call this roadmap. So let's go to the chat. And, we'll read from the start or from the beginning. I will just okay. Okay, the first question I will project it up. You just read out and also answer it at the same time.
Okay. So the question is, could you install Quickblog on a subdomain and have it hosted by Quickblog, or does it only work as a plugin to already existing sites? So if I understand that question correctly, and I think it'd be good just to confirm by Faz, I believe was asked. So what you're trying to do is you want to set up a page via Quickblog on our subdomain, and then set up your blog on that page that's been provided by Quickblog. Is that correct?
I
So
don't know
Faz.
whether he's here, but then you can just answer whatever you think that is the
Yeah,
question.
okay. So if that's the question, if it is the question that yes, you want, Quickblog to, okay, yeah. So he's just confirmed. So yes, actually, we do provide a free landing page hosting service. So it's a static page. We'll create it. It's actually on our domain as well. Well, it's not Quickblog domain, but it's called myquick.blog, and that's you can create a subdomain that you want on that domain. So let's say it's going to be, fantasticfood.myquick.blog, and you'd request that. It's on a free hosted page that we'll set it up. We'll change all of your, let's say, your colors, your logos, etc., and then we'll add the code directly to that page. So then you can have your own completely free hosted blog using Quickblog landing pages. Now, the one caveat is because it's free, it's not something you can go and edit yourself or actually change all the content or request the content. Once it's set, then it's pretty much just as it is. So if you did wanted to request a different one, then we can do that with a different blog. But yeah, we would only set that up one time for you, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Actually, Fast actually answered that. His question. What you say is correct. Yes, he answered that. So let's move to the second question by Sujit.
Sure, sure. So I'm guessing, how can we use SEO to optimize our content? Is there any specific SEO integration that's built in? So with the SEO Scorer, it's a guide. It's a structured guide to help you improve the structure of your blog post. So again, using things like recognized, I guess, tactics for on-page SEO specifically for your blog post. So it will use things like, and these are sort of frameworks or guides that I've taken from Moz and Ahrefs and other types of tools to help you guide the best type of structure for your SEO content for your blog post. Now, in the future, and it's near future as well, so in the next, I believe next month, we're going to be starting to work on a Google Search Console integration, in which you can add your Google Search Console directly to Quickblog. This will allow you to do a number of things where you can request indexing of your blog posts directly from Quickblog. So you don't have to go back into Google Search Console once you've created your published blog post. You can just request that to be done directly. And then you'll be able to see things like your traffic that's coming through from specific keywords from your search results, as well as analysis of your traffic from, let's say, as you're creating different blog posts over time. So you'll be able to do things like comparison of traffic versus last month's traffic versus this month's traffic. What's our search results traffic? How many hits are we getting? That sort of stuff. So we're going to be more deeply integrated into Google Search Console.
Just now you are talking about Dhiren, you're talking about integration with Google Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be, I mean, the latest GA4?
So that's actually already something that a few users have set up. I believe they're using UA rather than GA4. So they, rather than directly adding the, let's say, the code to a Quickblog, they just add the UA analytics into, let's say, the page that's been hosted or hosting the Quickblog. And then Google Analytics can actually determine that specific pages have been browsed rather than just the blog itself. So actually, the integration already works, and that was completely candidly, that was a happy accident. We didn't even sort of think about doing that sort of analysis on the side. But if you drop in your Universal Analytics code from Google Analytics into your page that hosts the Quickblog, then it will actually recognize all of the hits for all of your blog URLs within there. Like I said, completely happy accident. Glad it works.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, let's move to the second next question. Okay, how does it improve an existing blog?
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether you are using. Okay, they have a existing blog, but then they want to use Quickblog. Would it crash?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're using a tool like, I don't know, let's say you're using WordPress or maybe even like Weebly's built-in blog tool, then Quickblog is a replacement for the blog system specifically. And the reason why I say that is because we're there to focus on SEO. SEO is always really paramount, as well as speed and things like that. So so Quickblog doesn't sort of integrate with an existing blog. It just replaces the blog tool itself and helps you get you up and running with blog posts much quicker than typically other types of systems would do.
Okay, so next move to the next. Okay, this is a statement, you know.
Great. I like the different alternations that can be made to personalize the blog. Yeah, that was one of the first things I wanted to do. I was like, look, I just want to make it much simpler to be able to style the look, look and feel of the blog that I wanted to. And over time, that will get much, much better. So one of the things that we're working on, probably in the later half of this year, is more sort of a theme-based template. So everybody wants to have a blog a specific way, and yes, there are ways to customize it now, but over time that will get much simpler. So you'll be able to specifically select types of themes that fit in with the type of blog style that you're looking. So if you're familiar with these types of I guess drag and drop builders and themes that are available in WordPress, that's what we're trying to emulate in the future. So that way you'll be able to have a very, very super customizable blog and the style and the look and the feel.
Okay, since you're talking about the roadmap, can you just show the roadmap now, so that we
Yes,
can have a look?
let's bring that up. Sure. So bear with me a second. If you let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see this? Can you see the
Yes,
roadmap?
see that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm sure all of you, or maybe not all of you, but probably a bunch of you on the call have already checked out the roadmap. It's on the AppSumo listing. It's even in the notification bell in the app as well. But within here, you can see all of the items we've done. So you can see all the new feature updates that we've recently released, were the ones that we're working on as well. So I mentioned things like the new navigation, also some sort of QA fixes as well. So being able to show and hide specific blog posts in your main blog. So this was something that a user requested. I actually thought was quite an important thing to do, because you might have some let's say some targeted blog posts that you don't want to necessarily display in your main blog. And so with this, what you'll be able to do is have like a toggle, just a hide or show checkbox within the blog itself, blog post in the editor. It says, show this in my main blog, or hide it from my main blog. So that way, if you just want to have like directed traffic to an important article that you don't want shown on your main blog, then you can do that as well. Some key updates as well, just being able to sort things like based on the blog post column. So if we go back to dashboard, being able to sort your blog articles by the status, the score, categories, etc. And then the internal link checker I mentioned already. So in the SEO Scorer, what we'll do is we'll make sure that we're looking for a link that is locally connected to your own blog. So maybe an existing blog post or another page within that domain that's specified. And of course, these types of things will help you improve your findability. These are all things that Google and other search engines really look for to help improve that sort of findability of the blog post. I also mentioned as well, we're releasing a private Shopify app integration. Now with this, you'll be able to integrate Quickblog directly into your Shopify store. I know that there's not many people that are really using it, but I know some people are definitely interested in it. But with that, you'll then be able to insert directly products from your Shopify store directly into your blog post and using a shortcode. So it's sort of like a type and find, and it will show up all of the product details within the editor as well. So a couple of other things that are really important: custom scripts. This is one that's been voted on and asked by so many people, but that will then allow you to add custom scripts directly into your main blog. So if you wanted to have, let's say, there's a pop-up or something for your email or your, let's say, your autoresponder, like capturing leads, something like that, and you want to embed a form into your blog, then that's also possible, or maybe any sort of additional analytics. The 301 redirect and canonical URL, these are more specific to SEO, sorry. So the 301 redirect, this will be to make sure, let's say, if somebody enters a blog URL that is invalid for the post, so based on the directory structure, then what will happen is rather than going to a blank page, it will redirect them to any other page that you want. So this way, there's no sort of any blank experiences as well. And the canonical URL, for those of you who are familiar, this was one that was suggested the other day, but I thought was a really, really important thing to add, is let's say you have versioning or different types of URL slugs of your blog posts, and maybe you're updating it over time, but you want to keep those slugs as they are. With the canonical URL, this will tell, like a search engine, what is the main blog post or the main blog URL that you're wanting to use to be indexed and stored. So maybe if somebody goes and does a search, then that canonical URL is still used for all of those search results, rather than any updated versions in the future, for example. There's lots of other ones. One of the ones I'm really keen on doing is social embed. So rather than having to enter custom code for things like embedding Twitter posts or Facebook posts or TikTok posts, etc., we'll just have buttons that enable you to connect, let's say the post ID or whatever it is for those different channels, and then that will just embed the post directly into the editor. Resize blog window. This will just be, for example, to change the width. So if you look, let's say, from the width of the edges of the blog posts, just to be able to change that as you see fit from within the editor as well. And I've talked about the Google Search Console integration. And you can see there's lots of other ones which have been, entered. There's also some denied ones which I know it's going to be a lot of effort for not a lot of gain. And things like paywall membership, that's also really, really highly discussed and requested feature. GPT integration, GPT-3 is going to be doing things like, rather than a full AI tool, like let's say Niches or AI Writer or AI SEO, all those other tools that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. What we want to do is just have things like some research based on the keyword that you're entering, and then maybe to provide some key analysis in terms of what types of structural terms you can use to improve the score, the SEO score, and the findability of your content as well. So I've also mentioned SEO templates.
Dhiren, let me interrupt a bit. You're
Sure.
talking of GPT-3 integration. So, I mean, would there be additional costs involved because
No, there wouldn't be, because like I said, it's not going to be an AI writer. It's just going to provide in some insights which would be useful for you to actually help them structure your content.
which mean based on whatever that we have published?
Yeah, so whatever keyword that you're using, whatever research, it's almost like going to be a slight research tool, right?
I see.
So if you're let's say you've got your keyword that you want to use, let's say purple sky, and then what we're trying to do in there is just say, let's look at what types of articles have ranked the best for that keyword, and then provide some insights in terms of what type of keywords or H tags, H1 tags, paragraph, let's say keywords within there or topics to discuss. So it will give you some insights, but it's not going to be like that high level. So, for example, if let's say if you are a brand new blogger and you've never used an AI tool like that before, like I said, Scale, AI SEO, whichever tool it is, then you might not necessarily want to invest in another one. Quickblog will give you the basics of how to, what types of articles have ranked quite well before, and then giving you some insights in terms of what types of terms to use in your blog post.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the question first before we have time to go back to the roadmap.
Mhm.
Okay, let me go down. Oh, this is interesting.
We migrate our blog from Quickblog to WordPress. Excuse me. Yeah. So there's a couple of ways that can be done. Well, right now there's only one way that can be done. So Quickblog has an RSS feed that you can export all of your blog posts to. And so if you have a tool, maybe an intermediary that does the RSS to WordPress, then that's one way that you can do it. So in the future, and this is very near future, we'll be working on a way to export your blogs in plain text. So all of the, let's say, URLs for links, all of the images, all of that would then be available, maybe like just a very simple text file, but then for you to re-import into whichever tool you're using. So I can see someone just mentioned RSS to Twitter. I believe there are lots of tools that do that sort of migration in between, but we do have a full RSS feed that will allow you to export your content from Quickblog to another tool.
That's great. Let's move to the next question.
Mhm. Yeah.
Monetization.
Yeah, that's really important as well. So this was something that one of my early users also requested. So the ability to do things like iframes, just to add your, let's say, AdSense code or your ESO code. I haven't really explored into it too much at the moment. Just I know that the iframe capability within the blog editor will allow you to add your blog sense or blog ad monetization code, whichever tool you're using, and then that way you can obviously monetize any page views or blog views directly from there. So hopefully that makes sense. But in the future, I know I definitely will be looking into how potentially it could be more baked in, much easier. Maybe again doing some sort of simple integration by JavaScript or something like that. But we'll come across that bridge in a little bit time.
Okay, next question.
Okay. So I think all of these have been already answered. So SEO capabilities, I believe I showed you all of the structured content. It's a guide, like I said, when you're writing the post content. So it'll give you the score, like what types of things you want to add in it. AdSense, I've just mentioned, you can have an iframe inside your blog post that will then have your AdSense code. And actually, one of the things I do need to do is make that more global. So it adds that universally to every post rather than just doing that on each post level. And yes, you can also schedule your blog posts as well.
This is about language, Vietnamese language.
Yeah, so the editor, sorry, I was just laughing when I saw someone mention it. Do I have to pay for that T-shirt? But I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But yeah, the blog editor, you can write in any language. You can write left to right to left. However, however you write today in any editor, you'll be able to support that in the editor in Quickblog as well. So you don't need to worry about that. We also have 16 different UI languages, so all of these sort of static things that don't change. We will obviously increase that over time. It's just quite expensive to do the translations, but yeah, over time that will naturally increase.
Hmm. That's good
Okay.
to know.
Yeah. So yeah, can lead gen. Yeah, so likely this will be easier when to do when Quickblog will support custom code. So you'll be able to embed your own, like let's say forms, or let's say email collectors or whatever it is, and that will be able to trigger, for example, on within the code settings or within the settings of those tools that you're already using. So I don't think we're going to build anything natively that sort of takes away from the key aspect of Quickblog, but we want to make sure it's open enough to be able to support any sort of tools that you're using on top of that.
Hmm. Okay, good to know. Next question. Oh, this has been asked. I mean, I have already asked.
Yeah, sure. So actually, and again, being very, very candid, so one user actually did a test upon WordPress and Quickblog using page speed. So the results, I'm not surprised. Quickblog performed less. Quickblog only has effectively one server in the EU. We will be actually looking to expand the architecture, so hopefully at least two locations in the US and EU. We're going to be doing things like load balancing. We're going to be doing things like that, obviously resilience building into that. So making sure that Quickblog is much more available. But the page speed score wasn't massively different, to be fair. And I was quite pleased. Their WordPress blog post, it was using exactly the same content. I think it got a score of 76 or 74, and Quickblog got a score of 62. And considering we've only got one server, I think that's pretty good. So I'm quite happy. I will be looking at improving the architecture overall over time to make that much faster. But we have baked in a content delivery network, a CDN. So images are optimized when you're loading them into Quickblog, whether you're doing it via URL or an upload, or using it via, let's say, one of the stock image integrators. Then it will actually bring that into the Quickblog CDN, and that will help optimize the image delivery.
Great. So this is interesting.
Can we come back in and update our blog posts later, say 3 months later, and then it updates automatically the previous post? I'm not sure if I understand the question there. 'Cause it sounds like you wanted to edit or update the blog post inside Quickblog. And do you mean will like Google go and research or re-index the blog post? Is that the question? Or maybe Rachel, you can provide an answer. I'm just not sure if I
I mean,
understand.
if it's just a normal update, then it should not be a big issue, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just like, if it's pretty much the same keyword, then it will still be indexed as long as it's already been indexed before. It's just that the content will be updated. But typically, Google will go and recrawl a lot of different URLs, which especially if you've loaded your sitemap and things like that. And actually, one of the things that will be on the roadmap is a blog schema that you will be able to submit. So if you're just wanting to update things like the keywords and things in there, then that is possible. But likely today you will need to ask Google to recrawl it or re-index it.
Yeah, that's true. Rachel, if you want to explain a little bit, just comment in the chat, so that we can revisit the question.
No storage limit for media, but yeah, that is because we wanted to have a tool that people can create as many blog posts as needed. Of course, the images are optimized, so storage is relatively cheap. It's very very it's like a very small percentage of all of this sort of server hosting costs, etc. And very quickly, I just want to answer Dave Smith about the T-shirt. So I think during the Black Friday giveaway, they were given a promotion. It's like if you spend like $50, then you can order a free T-shirt, and that was it. So that's how I got this AppSumo T-shirt.
Okay. Yeah, this question is interesting. Why do you need to post as a normal Gutenberg blog post? What is normal Gutenberg blog post?
Yes, I'm not sure if I understand. We can schedule it
Yeah,
as a normal Google.
Peter, if you are around, please explain a little bit your question so that we can answer it properly. Okay, we'll just skip this question first, right?
Yeah. So about the SEO scoring. So like I said, it's a guide. It's a guide that's based on best practice. It's not like this is exactly what Google sees, but obviously if you follow that guide, you then improve your SEO findability, your SEO score, and the way that those types of blog posts are also ranked. So don't take it literally, but if obviously the higher your score, then the better the more likely it will be ranked as well.
Yeah, of course, I mean, we are not here to teach you SEO, so but SEO is a game, which Google don't tell you how to score, so we have to figure out ourselves. So it's only a guideline, definitely.
Yeah,
So
but it's pretty comprehensive anyway.
mhm.
Okay, so if I wanted to replace my current WordPress blog with Quickblog, how would I manage URLs, redirection, or could I just name the Quickblog URL the exact same as what I had in WordPress? Now, actually, this is really important. So one of the newer updates that's come into Quickblog, hopefully by the start of March, is we're going from, in fact, let me share my screen. I think this might be easier. So I'm just going to share my screen. So you'll see, if I go into a blog post, you'll see we have this sort of this sort of like pagination query string. This equals QB dash B equals, and that's effectively the precursor for the URL slug. But actually, an update that's coming soon is we're just going to replace that with a forward slash. So from QB blah 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 to that. So that will then mean that any sort of blog post that you have from, let's say, WordPress or other types of tools could literally be migrated in exactly the same format as long as the URL slug is exactly the same. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone on the call. But if you want me to go through a little bit more of that, then I can do as well.
Yeah, that would be interesting, if we can make it the same. Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is about website speed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mentioned this very quickly. That the scoring difference is really minimal, or at least when you do a GT metrics score, actually Quickblog performs really, really well. So in my own blog, I've been able to get like B plus, sometimes A, depending on what types of content I'm actually loaded in there. But Google Page Speed, there's some certain frameworks in there now that have been updated, which sort of almost like penalizes Quickblog a little bit, but not really on the content side, especially when you're creating good content. It just says that the page speed is a little bit slower than maybe like a WordPress website. So it doesn't really slow down the website at all. You're still able to get like, a couple of millisecond load, and then obviously some maybe like a couple of seconds for the the content painting from within the page itself. But it doesn't really affect the rankability from within Google in that case.
Okay, thank you. Webflow, can you push the blog to Webflow?
Yes. So for everyone on the call, and maybe Albert, you can add a chat. I can't see how to add this in there, but please check out help.quickblog.co. I've put in loads of different like integration tutorials for different websites, all of the different ways that you can set up and use Quickblog. Even I've seen a post about what is white label. All of the information that you need and you're looking to get, including how to set up on Webflow, is within help.quickblog.co. So it's our knowledge base, and I've worked pretty hard just to keep it up to date and get it to the level it's at now. So yeah, please check it out, and I'm sure it'll answer 70, 80, if not more percent of your questions.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Lovely was asking how to join this giveaway. Okay, let me answer this. So if you are in the this what they call this chat, you are actually entering the what they call giveaway for the Facebook Live. So, but we have another giveaway which is actually three prizes. That will be you comment on the blog, not comment in our group as well as in Diran Facebook group. Then we will draw from that. So you can check that out in our main official discussion thread in our Facebook group. Okay, let's move on.
How many domains can I connect? It's simple. You can connect one domain per account that you have. So in the premium plan, you have 3 accounts. So that means 3 domains and up to 90 with the agency 90 plan. So if you stack 5 codes, if you buy 5 codes in total from AppSumo, then you'll have 90 accounts to be able to create blogs with. So 90 domains on that one.
So is there unlimited domains? I mean,
So you can always change the domains. You can change that yourself, but you can buy more domains after 90 if that's what you're asking. That is a subscription-based one, but we will work on a 50% minimum discount for AppSumo buyers if they wanted to purchase additional domains. It's still relatively cheap.
okay.
I see your
So
heart worry me. Okay, it'd be great to get more insight into what parts worry you, Sam. If you're able to, elaborate, and I'll do my best to answer them and alleviate your fears.
okay. So let's see what is the next question. Story Chief.
So
I
Story
don't.
Chief, yeah. So from what I understand, Story Chief is more of a multi blog publisher. I've never used it myself, so I can't really comment too much. But I've seen the promotion on AppSumo, and I know it can promote to things like Medium and WordPress and a few other different types of channels already. So actually, this is something that has been mentioned by a few Sumo links and a few people in the giveaways. Is it possible that Quickblog could do a similar thing? And I will be looking into that, because if I can add value there, where it means you can publish not only to your own website, but to multiple systems, multiple platforms that you're using as well, then I will very, very seriously investigate into it. It probably won't be something that comes immediately or in the very short term, but it's something that I'm very interested in looking at.
Okay, good to know that. Okay, this question is about page speed.
Mhm. External JavaScript slow down website. Yes, I mean there's no two ways about it. Any JavaScript you add to any website can slow down a website, but obviously it depends on what type of JavaScript you're adding. So Quickblog's JavaScript is very, very light. It's in the kilobytes, and I mean like probably double-digit kilobytes. So it's very, very small add-on. But of course, all of the other things that you might add in, let's say when you're using custom scripts, when that's added, when you add your share this and your discuss code and all these types of things, yes, of course, they do add a little more JavaScript into your website. So there's no real way to circumvent it. It will slow it down, but not to the point where it's taking an inordinate amount of time just to actually load up your website. It should be maximum, a couple of 100 milliseconds, maybe a second or so, or just to actually load up the website with the entire blog. So it shouldn't really be noticeable.
Okay, definitely, So I mean, any external JavaScript will slow down the website. Let's move to the next question. It's also about speed. Oh,
Uh,
not speed. This is the other question. Okay, maybe you answer this one.
Yes, so this is actually one thing that I've so around the speed index, so based on the page speed index, sorry, and this is what I was talking about before, where a user did a comparison for WordPress versus Quickblog. The mobile element is something I've already mentioned to the devs, but also I've seen that there is, and I'm not calling out the Swipe Pages team. I actually did a score based on some swipe pages as well. One that didn't have any Quickblog script on it, and the mobile speed was still shown as a bit slower. So I think at the moment it's a combination of Quickblog and my landing page builder. So I've reported it to them as well. I'm still waiting for an update, but I will obviously create some sort of not workaround, but a solution to make that much more improved. But yeah, that page speed index is something that I'm definitely working on with the dev team to actually address and see how we can make it a lot more reliable in that respect.
Good. Move to the next question.
Yes, this is what I was talking about. I think this I'm sure some people probably heard what I was talking about with the Google Search Console integration. So not only is it going to show your analytics, so yeah, like I said, impressions per page, it's going to show your traffic over time. You'll be able to request indexing for your blog posts directly. So these are things that will be built in. And I'm sure the very first version won't have everything, but we will continue to update it as well.
Okay, this is an important question. A lot of people are interested in this white label kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So very quickly, white label, all it is, it's a way to completely rebrand the Quickblog portal. So I'll show my screen and show you what I mean. But within here, so you can see, obviously, I'm in my Quickblog portal. You can see we've got branded Quickblog stuff, even things like with the notification bell, it's loading the roadmap and any sort of change log. With white label, what you'll be able to do is change things like your logo, change the color scheme, even changing the login URL, as well as the emails that are going to be used to send any communications for things like password resets, new account setup, etc. So that's all integrated. So that way you won't, even your clients, and even down to, excuse me, if I go to the blog settings, when you use white label and you set up your domain, even the blog code will have the custom domain, the CNAME. So if you are giving access to clients for the portal, maybe you've created an account for them to log into to create their own apps, do DIY, not apps, sorry, DIY blog posts, then you can make sure that the entire portal is white label and they won't see anything that's Quickblog branded. Not even the images that are loaded in their blog posts will be Quickblog branded. They'll be on the stock Amazon AWS CloudFront CDN URL.
Okay, so that is only you only have to pay $100 to get the white label add-on, right?
Yes, but we're also doing a promotion at the moment. So if you buy, obviously you have to have an agency plan. So that means you need at least 2 codes. But if you then have the agency plan and you review us on AppSumo, G2, and Captera, the links will actually follow in your email. But actually, what I'll do is maybe I can add that in the group afterwards. I've created a short link that has all the links for reviews for those 3 services. If you buy 2 codes, review us on those 3 sites, then we will upgrade you to white label completely gratis, so completely for free. It's a way for us to say thank you for giving us more credibility in the World Wide Web. Like I said, those reviews that really appear on those 3 sites, I mean, they make a world of difference for any sort of future sales and credibility. So we're looking for open and honest reviews only, please. I know you obviously want to make Quickblog look as positive light as possible, but any sort of criticism as well that you want to give us, we will take on board and use that to improve the platform as well.
Okay, thanks for your explanation. Okay, I do not know why is this question being asked. Maybe they are trying to what they call do a PBN or something like that.
It's a bit like dynamic page variables, which I'm sure people on the website have used for. I actually learned about myself when I did a live podcast with a guy called Simon. I'm not sure if that's Simon that's on the call that's requested that, but in his audience, they were asking about the same thing. So it's something I need to speak to Simon and Daryl about exactly how that would look like, because right now I don't have the exact details of how Spintax works, but it sounds like it's like dynamic page variables. You'd almost like add a number of different fields, and then they are automatically replaced based on who sees them, or maybe like the UTM parameters that are then loaded into the blog itself. That's what I understand from that Spintax capability. Yeah, it's not something that's currently planned, but I would love to get more details. And please, if you have any ideas, please feel free to add them to the roadmap as well, and I can seriously investigate them.
Okay. Oh, this is question about similar to webhook. I mean, not webhook, WordPress hooks.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with WordPress hooks, but that sounds a little bit like snippets of content. Is that correct? It's almost like pre-canned content for things like conclusions. Is that correct? Maybe
I don't know how to explain.
I don't know, Lilian, are you still there? Can you hopefully give a little bit more context on that?
It's a little bit to explain in words, So maybe we answer it in this Facebook group, Nilayan was asking it, So maybe Nilayan, maybe you can try to explain your question. let's move on.
Blog post, but just as any other WordPress post in
Oh,
WordPress.
this is what they trying to explain earlier.
Yeah, so this was around the sort of multi-platform publishing. So, like I said, it's something that we are looking at very, very keenly. But please, it's not going to be something that's going to be built probably in the next month or even 2-3 months. It's something that I need to obviously investigate how that's going to be done properly, to make sure that it is along the same at least expectation as maybe as a platform like Story Chief. So it's likely going to be a big update on that one. But in the future, I'm not saying no. In fact, I definitely want to do it, but it's just going to take some time to get it up.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So yeah, Sam from previously, I think he the one who said he was a bit worried about the SEO.
yeah.
So here, Sam, I'm glad to hear. Yeah, cool. Next question.
Okay. So this is also answered. White
Yeah,
label.
awesome. Thanks, Justin. And to him, can I get back to other users for only blog updates and posting? Yes, you can. So you can create a content writer in with the agency, or even with a premium account. You can create an content writer user who only has access to create blogs or edit them and actually post them. So rather than having any of the access to the admin as well.
Mhm. Okay, I think we have answered all the question. No, if I'm not wrong. So, guys, if you have any other question, just post it in the chat box. Then we can try to answer that. Okay. If you guys have no answer, no further question, we can actually move on to the what they call highlight of the event. Choosing a winner. Okay, Nilayan has answered that. I just post this in the chat.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Oh, so Albert, just very quickly, will you be able to export these posts and send them to me? So all the questions, just so I've got everything viewed, I can add them to roadmap and suggestions, that sort of stuff. Is there a way to get all of these questions exported? Albert?
Yes.
Sorry, just asking. Is there a way to get all of the attendees' questions exported, so at least I've got a copy of everything, I can review that and see what sort of feedback, and just so I don't forget anything, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
You mean what?
you can as well. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So yeah, hooks are a way for one piece of code to interact, modify another piece of code at specific predefined spots in the context of the question rather than adding extra code. I was keen on the ability to add something like an affiliate disclaimer at the start of each post or an about author at the end. So I think that, to me, that does sound like pre-canned snippets of maybe content that you want to have, rather than rewriting it directly into a blog post. It's like just reusable bits of content. You can just say, right, I want to have my disclaimer, I want to have my, webinar starts at this date and time, that sort of stuff. So that's very interesting. If that's the case, I've not actually heard of that request before, but Nilayan, if you're able to jump into the roadmap, so again, it's updates.quickblog.co/roadmap. If you want to add that in there, again, I'll seriously look into it and see, okay, let's get people voting, let's get people actually looking into this.
Okay, I think you understand what I mean. I understand the question, but then I find it difficult to explain.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last question by Tuhin.
Can we schedule an update on pre-existing posts? Right, I see. Okay, so you want to, like, maybe using our Google Sheet, or just saying, right, I want to pre-can this update at a specific time. So, candidly, no, that's not possible at the moment. You would have to do that manually, but that is a very interesting one, actually. Scheduled updates. I'll look into that. I'll see how that's done in existing tools. But yeah, I think that one I'll definitely be adding into into the feature, that could make it quite powerful, because then you're updating based on new updates, new stats, new figures, and having to schedule that ahead of time rather than doing that like at the time you want it published. So yeah, I'll look into that one.
Okay, thank you. Maybe this is one of the good suggestion,
Mm.
So I think we have answered all the question, if I'm not wrong. So maybe it's time to do the draw. Uh, Let me share my screen. I have gathered all the names.
Awesome.
Okay, so you can see that this is the most popular screen of the giveaway. Let me copy the names of the participant. Okay, these are the previous screen.
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay, we have 24 entries, mean 24 person, they have actually present to watch this Facebook live. So guys, please tell me if your name are not there, so that maybe we can add it in at the last minute. So anybody's name's not there, please let me know. So if there's all the people's names are there, then I will just shuffle the name and we spin one time. So the lucky winner will walk away with one LTD code of this Quickblog. So if the person that is won has won, but then not present to claim the prize, we will redraw again. That's fair enough. So Dhiran, should we draw now?
Yep, yep. Let's do it.
Okay. Oh, Akoji, let me add your name if your names are not there.
There's a lot.
Okay, who else are not there?
Pans down the list.
Oh, maybe you come in last minute. Sorry, yeah.
So someone keeps saying face. So I don't think the
Oh, there's
way.
another guy. I don't know your name that because I can't see your name in the Facebook. In this backend of. Can you tell me write your name? Genghis Bond. I think your name is here, right? Genghis Bond. Okay, Fan Wu Huan is there. So I think everybody's names are here. So we will just spin one time and hope that the best guy will win. Let's go.
What
Dave Smith. Are you there, Dave Smith? If you are here, please type your name in the chat box, so that we can award the LTD to you. Okay, the man with the white mask. Okay, congratulations, Dave Smith. I think this is the first time you have won what they call a giveaway in our group. So congratulations, and I will tell you how to claim the prize after that. I will post what they call a post in the Facebook group. Okay, guys, thank you for your time, everybody, and I would like to say a few words before we actually end this uh, Facebook Live. And for those who have not bought this quick blog and you are considering it, this is the link. So go to the link, or maybe there is some what they call. You can go to our main what they call Facebook post, and you can see the link there and click there and do check it out. So I believe this quick blog will help you creating your blog post pretty quick. And of course there might be some what they call speed concern now. I believe Dhiran is actually working hard to solve this. So and with that, I would like to thank all of you again one more time for turning up this Facebook Live. And Dhiren, do you have anything to tell the audience before we actually close it?
Just thanks for joining. Appreciate the time. If you haven't joined, please join the Facebook group on facebook.com/group/Quickblog, and you'll see all the interactions from our users, adding questions. Yeah, really appreciate it. The engagement with me and the product. Thanks everyone.
Mhm. Yeah. So, but your voice is a little bit broken, no? Maybe because of your internet speed, whatever. So doesn't matter. We have come to the end of this Facebook Live, and once again, thank you guys, for your time, and we will see you again in the next Facebook Live. That will be Thursday. We have another Facebook Live on Thursday. And Friday, we have another Facebook Live again. So we have two more Facebook Live this week. So do watch out our announcement in our Facebook. And we'll see you again. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.